What a load of utter drivel. I'm f***ing pissed off of it.
I know a lot of some people have mixed reviews on this, but for me, overall, I enjoyed it.
That was a pilot.
I didn't like it.
I watched it at like midnight in my sister's house, and I was like, you know what, this will be really great. It's gonna reinvigorate me.
Yep.
No, just no.
I cannot believe that I literally cried at this episode, and it, somehow, despite me literally crying, it was probably one of the most disappointing finales of the last 20 years.
One word, let down. I don't know if that's two words, might be hyphenated, I don't know. No, I completely agree with you. It was just such a big wet blanket of an episode. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I've come to the pictures to watch this.
It was a mixed bag. I mean, my thoughts on the episode are pretty much the same as my thoughts on The Giggle, where there are certain moments and certain ideas with the episode that I like and really admire, but the episode as a whole was a bit of a mess.
For me, there was no tension at all as soon as every character we knew died in one fell swoop at the beginning of the episode. I was like, right, so there's obviously going to be a reset button. There's no other way to play this.
You know, it was a bit of a disappointment. But again, it's like, I think they're all guilty of it, to be honest. Like Moffat, Chibnall, you build up high stakes and they kind of almost write themselves into a corner, and the only way they can get out of it is let's have a big fancy reset button.
Yes.
And I don't know it's time travel, but you can, I mean, I don't think anybody's particularly happy with the ending with season 3, Last of the Time Lords. Oh, there's a big reset button. Dealing with the repercussions of that would have been amazing to see down the line.
Like, and the thing, like you said with Russell with his reset button, he does it too much, and I've had enough. See, like, I don't mean this in like a dark way, but like, the whole, like, everyone dying, like, don't bring everyone back. Actually have the stakes.
Yeah, have the stakes.
But
yeah,
you literally just brought everyone back. Like, make it feel like, yeah, we saved some people, but we still lost people. Like, add the stakes. Don't go, oh yeah, people are going to be dead, but don't worry, we're bringing them back in like 20 minutes. Because that just makes it
exactly
feel like,
exactly.
Well, what was this all about?
Well, what was the point? Exactly.
What was the point?
Like,
exactly.
I think a lot of the individual scenes were great, but the way they're all connected was just
No.
It wasn't the best, and it's a shame because I thought this. We'll talk about that in a minute. The season was great, and obviously it's the kind of the big threat. I was a bit concerned about what they were doing with Sutekh because
Yes.
he was never a god; he was an alien, and obviously now that we've got his apotheosis,
Yes.
and he becomes finally the great god of death. And then we've also got, he's been lurching onto the TARDIS all this time, and it raises so many other questions, and you're like, I don't know how we can resolve this. Are there now two Suteks, because we've now got two TARDISes?
Oh.
Where was it at the end of the Big Bang? You know, where...
Was there a Sutekh, you know, off, like, are there 5 Sutekhs when the TARDISes were disappearing from the 5 Doctors?
Yeah.
Were they all circling together as a big, like, compound of, like, dogs around Gallifrey
Yeah.
to try and save it from the destruction at the end of Day of the Doctor?
I mean, it's not really what he's wanting, so be a bit annoyed.
Yeah, I went in there on the edge of my seat because I was like, whoa, Sutekh, or Set, the big bad Egyptian deity, is returned. I mean, I saw Pyramids of Mars for the first time during the week just to get some context. Special effects have really changed since the 70s, haven't they? It's just a guy wearing a mask before.
Sutekh's been in the TARDIS for like ever, and he's just thought, you know what would be funny? I'm just going to pop out now and be like, hello, how are you? I'm back. Did you miss me? Because I missed me. Because Sutekh, what was your goal? What was your end goal? What was just the whole episode? Why? Just why?
Basically, it was really nice the way it started off with the gift of death, the sands going around, everyone getting killed, the kind of emptying of the universe. That moment with Shooty screaming out of the TARDIS with Mel and Ruby behind him was amazing. It all set up beautifully, and then it all just came crashing down because actually it was all inconsequential. He put a leash on the dog and dragged him through the vortex, and somehow that means that everyone's back to life.
Sutekh looked silly, honestly. Like, his whole thing is that he's so frightening without even moving, and instead of being this threatening figure that is stationary with just a threatening voice, he was a giant CGI dog getting dragged around, you know, with red eyes. He looked pretty silly to me.
But then, yeah, like there's so many situations which just does not make sense for like the Doctor, like Idris, the TARDIS, and the Doctor's wife. Where how does she not? She welcomes to see the Doctor for the first time. She's like, for the first time, can I just say hello, Doctor? And not, oh, by the way, there's been a massive godlike creature on my arse for the past millennia.
And there's a stray dog round the back, you know, and
gotta sort it.
Please sort it. It's pissing and shitting everywhere.
Like that is one of the most annoying aspects about this is the resolution of Sutekh for me.
Also about Sutekh towards the end, how he was defeated, not gonna lie, that was anticlimactic. Like when Ruby was taking that TV monitor to Sutekh and then she dropped it to try and distract Sutekh or catch him off guard and then attach that wee rope, and then Sutekh was being dragged along the time vortex using said rope, and then as he's clawing at the time vortex, you have this Spider-Man No Way Home style visual in the sky. It's just, they really could have done better with that.
I loved Mel. Mel was amazing as always. I liked how Sutekh actually took Mel over and not Ruby, because it made sense.
But also, I do think the whole small section with Mel being possessed was
That was great.
That was well done.
That was very well done. I
did like that, but everything else in that middle section, I was just like, what was the point?
Exactly.
Shooty was fantastic. Mel was fantastic. The scene with the spoon woman was strangely beautiful, even though it doesn't make sense if you think about it too hard. It was still somehow a really beautiful, touching scene.
I liked that subplot with the woman on how she thinks her daughter died and her memory's going. I thought that was nice. I thought that was sweet. I just wish it was done better.
One thing I did like, he done the eye shit on the Doctor, like, you know how in the original, like, Sutekh's eyes glowed green, and obviously that's like attacks their nervous system. And what I liked as well is with that, if you look when that done, you can see like you can see the Doctor's nerves like turn green. So they've just took that old effect and just slightly updated it, which that was very cool. I like that.
What about in terms of Ruby Sunday and her mother?
I didn't mind that I kind of got the feeling it was going to be something ordinary anyway, because you're kind of building this kind of thing, this big thought. Oh, it's the tricks of the daughter, or the daughter's Sutekh, and it's just like, and you were right that it always seems to kind of fall back on the ordinary. That she was an ordinary person, but we make her important because that's how things work. You know, everyone is essentially ordinary. It's our situations and our relationships that make them important.
And then Ruby's mum was just a random person. I get why they did that, and I think it could be very touching, particularly for people who these things are very close to their heart. But as the end of that story, like, people in the cinema were laughing when it turned out that she was pointing at the sign to say that's why Ruby's called Ruby. It's just like, it just fell so flat, and you kept waiting for something to happen.
I do like how Ruby's mum isn't someone important, isn't someone powerful. I mean, I'm glad that the episode wasn't like, Ruby's mum is Susan Foreman. No, she's Rose Tyler. No, she's River Song. I like that. I like how she's just a regular woman who we don't even know about. She has a regular job as a nurse. And I love the scene towards the end where Ruby actually goes into that coffee shop and she's about to speak to her mum. My gosh, that moment was just, Oh, it was just so good. I love that moment so much.
Seriously anticlimactic with regards to who Ruby's mum is. I mean, it's just some random woman who had nothing whatsoever to do with the story, and even then she's only on screen for about 3 minutes.
I thought the execution of it was horribly botched, because the explanation that she's just a perfectly ordinary woman didn't explain quite a lot of the things that were set up, such as the snow and, you know, her pointing. I didn't really think that fitted very well as an explanation. I thought it was, you know, set up that there was more than that, and it felt a bit dishonest to be like, oh, she was just pointing at the sign. Why would she do that? It's not a very plausible explanation. You know, for me, it didn't really fulfill all the criteria to answer the questions that had been set up. Additionally, I think, okay, you're going for a theme, which I like the theme in theory. This is just an ordinary person, but because of the weight that's been placed on her, you know, in terms of the importance in Sutekh's mind and the importance in Ruby's mind, you know, she's been built up into this big thing, and you could tie it into like, well, that's, you know, how humans have religion and politics and things like that. We ascribe so much importance to things that are actually really just arbitrary, and there is actually quite a mundane explanation for them. I like that. If you're going with that theme, I think it would have been really nice to just end on that moment of, oh, she is just actually an ordinary woman, there's nothing to it, and then maybe pick up next series if you want to drop in and find out that Ruby actually is going through that process of building a relationship with her mother.
They touched upon that her dad didn't know that he was born or the mother had her, but she's now getting in touch with dad as well, and she's now left the doctor to go and do that, but we know she's established for season 2, so are we having a time skip between this final episode and either the special or the first episode of the next season? Or are we going to see this new companion and then go back and pick Ruby up? That's an interesting thought.
And even going forward, like that last scene, which to be honest, I don't think should have been the last scene. I genuinely think, you know, that thematic theme about family is what was driving quite a lot of the end of that episode. Why we ended on a Mrs. Flood thing, which felt like a post-credit sort of like teaser that we could have had. Why it wasn't instead genuinely focusing on, say, Susan, and having Susan, like, not even in it as a, you know, interaction with the doctor, but even just him looking at, say, 2190 or 220, and seeing Susan just operate and build up the resistance of what she's been doing to make a better Earth, and him just looking like they had in the End of Time, where he just sees people from a distance and everyone just like smiles and his little grunt, and Karen Ford's just like, oh, that's, and just recognises that little smile. That would have been a perfect way to have ended.
I kind of get the feeling that that's we probably are going to see it at some point, and it'll probably be the next season.
And it ended up that the most impactful part at the end of the episode was the bit where Mrs. Flood's at the top of the building in her outfit, giving her monologue to the camera, breaking the fourth wall. And that's nice, but that shouldn't be the most interesting part of the end.
Mrs. Flood is a spooky person, so what is she up to? I want to know. And
You're
that's
the only one who thought that. I was thinking about making a meme of, like, you know, in Still Game where Victor says back. I was thinking about putting
Back off, you spooky person.
I was thinking about putting the two pictures together and going, back off, you spooky bitch, because that's how she presents herself. That tease at the end was very good, and clearly you can tell the reason why they made that, because, you know, she's breaking the fourth wall and going night night. I think they made that for the cinema viewers.
From that ending, a lot of people now think she had worked out who she is, but I'm sticking with what I thought from the beginning, that she's a Rani. It just makes sense. We've had the master numerous times since the show came back. We haven't seen the Rani yet. This is a perfect opportunity to bring her back, and it will be absolutely phenomenal seeing her player. So I cannot wait for that.
Did I enjoy watching it? Yeah, as I say, Shooty was fantastic, Mel was fantastic. I think there were some good ideas there. I just didn't think they were executed very well.
Not up there with the best of finales, to tell you the truth. I'm really hoping we can pick up next time, but yeah, it's far more misses than hits, I'm afraid.
But ultimately, it's got everyone talking again. This series has been a joy because it's got everyone talking. And it's very nice to be here at the Glasgow Doctor Who Society that's been running for 42 years, and to see so many different people just excited to talk and share memories of all sorts of things. It's brilliant. And like, you know, we had someone come along tonight who joined 40 years ago, and you know, that's great. It's nice, and I'm just hopeful that everything will improve next season. But it wasn't great, and it's a bit depressing.
I bring you Sutekh's gift to allow you to subscribe to the official Glasgow Doctor Who Society YouTube channel. If you don't do so, then kneel before the might of Sutekh.
Please, I never get raging, and I am raging.